Hey folks, Gary here. Happy Tuesday to you. I hope you're having a really good Tuesday. Ours looks like it might be a little bit damp. It looks like it rained last night, which is not a bad thing. When you live on the prairies, man, moisture is really awesome until you get way too much. But right now, man, we could sure use it. So it's good for us. Hey, yesterday we talked about boldness, about coming to God with a boldness and a confidence. Now, that's not an arrogance, but it's a confidence in what Jesus did for us on the cross. That we can come to God and we don't have to be terrified of him, but we can see him as a loving father who cares for us. It's kind of like my kids coming to me. My son and daughter, they are bold when they come to me because they know I love them. I'm not going to destroy them when they ask for something. And in fact, I'll probably say, yes, please go ahead, because we have that loving relationship, the same thing we have with God. So we can be bold in that. Well, what I want to talk about today is walking in this boldness in our everyday life, doing the things God's called us to do that we might not normally do, but we feel this impression from God to step out and do something. There's a boldness we can have when the Holy Spirit dwells inside of us and the Holy Spirit leads us. In Galatians 5, Paul writes in verses 16 18, let me just read it. It says this: So I say, let the Holy Spirit guide your lives. Then you won't be doing what your sinful nature craves. So your sinful nature says, no, right? Or I want to do this instead. But if you listen to the Holy Spirit, you let him guide you, that's not going to happen. It says 17, the sinful nature wants to do evil, which is just the opposite of what the Spirit wants. And the Spirit gives us desires that are the opposite of what the sinful nature desires. These two forces are constantly fighting each other. So you're not free to carry out your good intentions. So you have good intentions. I want to do this. I want to do this. But the old nature says, no, don't do it. Don't expose yourself. Don't be vulnerable, right? That kind of thing. But the Holy Spirit is saying, no, step out. Trust me. Verse 18. But when you are directed by the Spirit, you're not under the obligations to the law of Moses. I remember back when I was 19 years old, I had just given my life to Jesus, right? Just gave my life to him, changed everything in my life. And God gave me a good friend at that moment named Doug. Now, he was a much more mature believer. He had been saved, I think, a month before I was. So he's been walking with Jesus for like 3 months. I've been walking with him 2 months. We would go downtown Calgary and we'd wear these black baseball caps and black with white letters. And his said, God is love, and because he was more mature. And mine said, God is it, because he already took God is love. So that's what I had. But we wore those hats and we had these really dark sunglasses and black t-shirts and stuff like that. And we'd walk around this outdoor mall in Calgary in the summertime. And people would come to us. We didn't have to go after people. We're enough of a spectacle that people would come to us, and they would sit and they would talk and they'd want to know about Jesus, and they would ask questions about God. How can you live with God? All these kind of things. Now, here's the thing. I've only known Jesus for 2 months at that point in time. I didn't have any kind of deep theological knowledge. I didn't have any kind of tools in my toolbox. I had experience. I had nothing. Who was I to tell them about Jesus? And if I look at that in the natural, I'd say, no way would I do that. That's crazy. Man, I'd be so embarrassed because I wouldn't know what I was talking about. But here's the thing. I had an experience. I knew who Jesus was because I gave my life to him. And I had the Holy Spirit dwelling inside of me who gave me the answers, who gave me the boldness to talk to them. And it was phenomenal. God does that every day. Right? When you're having coffee and someone starts talking to you about that, don't shy back. In boldness, tell them about the Lord. If they ask a question, respond back. If God prompts you, if the Holy Spirit prompts you to tell someone about who the Lord is, tell them who the Lord is. If God prompts you to help them, to do good things for them, like make them supper, then go do it. Be bold in that. Be bold in following the leading of the Holy Spirit, because he's going to lead you to do really, really good things. You can trust him in that. So be bold, have an awesome Tuesday, and stay out of the rain.